視野は目利きの感じ。情けは無用。世間も同じでしょう。
いいな、いいな。いいなだ、いいなだ。
潮風が頬を撫でる。今のね、ボワン、まだいるのだわ。攻撃続行。潮干狩りにでも来た気分。弱点が丸見えでしてよ。完璧な新メタリー。視覚から来るのだわ。おっと、パエト王様のために。やった。砂浜に思いを刻んで、今のはボワン。いってほうっい。なめないでください。やっふーやっはあやっやっ。新商品続々入荷。寄ってらっしゃい、見てらっしゃい。
Okay, let's get back in now. But yeah, so previously, yesterday, where we left off was that the rest of us had mistakenly thought... So we had seen some events in our memories. Her being rescued from a hollow in the outer ring. Her mother trying to cure her ether corruption. And from the memory we saw, it was incredibly dire. said that, according to her calculations, Yidhari would be dead in 18 hours. She'd be an ethereal at that point. And then we saw one where her parents were on the boat in Elpis Harbor saying, man, this is just too difficult, we're going to have to give up. And the characters of this game were stupid. And they were like, oh no, they were giving up on Yidhari. Even though it was pretty obvious that the order that they were trying to think the events happened in was completely wrong. And I already had guessed what the order was. They were thinking that her being rescued from the Outer Hollow was first, and that's where she got ether corruption. And basically the order I recounted the memories was the order that they actually happened in. That she was rescued from the Hollow, parents tried to cure her of her ether corruption, and then they abandoned her. Which is obviously stupid, because we were chilling in Elpis Harbor, interacting with everybody, which had to have been her memory, because this is all memories, and no one was like thinking, oh yeah, she's almost dead, because like the second memory was her mother saying, yeah, her ether corruption is incredibly severe, she's going to die within 18 hours, and yet the next memory is, they think the next memory in the chain is her being completely fine and cured, completely not sick, at Elpis Harbor, interacting with everyone nicely, and overhearing her preparing a birthday gift for her mother. You guys think that somehow she was about to die within 18 hours, yet she's healthy enough to pop into the Port Elpis and consider her mother's birthday present? Fuck no. Obviously that's not the case. Obviously the events were in the exact opposite order. The birthday present was first, then there was the ether corruption, trying to cure the ether corruption, then her being rescued from the Hollow. Right? That's obviously the way things were actually going. Especially because I'm pretty sure Yidhari had even told us that her parents had died, she was aware of that, and that she was rescued from the Hollow in the Outer Ring. So it's like, we should have already known, and not like us specifically because we like watched promotional videos and stuff. I'm pretty sure in-game they mentioned, she had mentioned to us that she was rescued from the Hollow. Like when she was talking about her powers and stuff. I'm pretty sure she said that she like was rescued outside the Hollow. So like we should have known that her being rescued by Pompeii in the Outer Ring Hollow was different. Like it was the last line in the events because she was rescued at that point, and then she had to live her orphan life, right? So, anyway, so my guess was obviously the Port Elpis thing. She got onto the boat, she went to meet her parents, and then that's when the catastrophe happened. Because we also knew that when we were on Port Elpis, this was before the catastrophe 11 years ago, before Hollow Zero rapidly expanded and fucked everything up, before Eridu fell. So we already knew that. So it's just like, yeah, no shit. Obviously, she goes to see her parents, and then that's when the shit hits the fan in Eridu, and likely when she got corrupted. And then her parents tried to cure her. They succeeded because she lived, which they weirdly kind of gloss over. They're like, oh my god, like my parents, we like when Yidhari saw the memory of her parents saying, well, her mother really, saying, oh my god, this is not working, like, she has 12 hours before she forms an ether core, 18 hours before she turns into an ethereal. Yidhari then is like, oh man, they failed. Like, dude, you're fucking alive. Obviously they didn't fail. You'd be dead if they failed. Like, people kept like ignoring the fact that, yes, based on how dire the situation was from that memory, there's no way in hell that the Port Elpis memory, what happened after that, you know? Because if she was alive for that event, if she was alive, and if this Port Elpis happened afterwards, and she was alive, then clearly she was cured, or at least, mitigated to a heavy degree. But she would at least be aware of that. So yeah. Anyway, so Yidhari finally realized, oh shit, it was my fault that my parents died. It's because I went to the Institute and got corrupted, and they died in their protection of me and trying to cure me. And so she was like, oh, okay, it's my fault. If I wasn't there, they might have survived. Which we don't know. They could have been fucked regardless, right? Like, it could be that because they were protecting her and staying in the lab trying to cure her, they avoided the detection of other ethereals. And if they had tried to escape properly, right? If when the shit hit the fan and they tried to escape, they could have been killed instantly by like a strong ethereal who just happened to be there at the time, right? Can't prove shit, right? We don't know what could have happened because there's just way too many variables, and we have no way of knowing. So yeah. So basically, yeah, that's the TLDR, is that Yidhari ran away from us, secluded to, I guess, wallow in her grief about having killed her parents. So now we've dived back in and are trying to help her confront the situation of what happened when she went to visit them and when Eridu fell.
ごめんね、イドリ。ええ、それもわかってる。全部私のせいと言ったの。
Which, of course, her saying that was incredibly stupid. Because she's like, no, Yidhari, we were wrong. Your parents didn't abandon you. Except at the end of the previous thing, after Yidhari locked herself away subconsciously and kicked us out of the dream, we talked to the fucking doctor, and the doctor was like, oh yeah, like Yidhari probably saw that ticket and realized Yidhari probably saw the ticket and realized what actually happened, which is, we were literally told this by either Grandpa Goo or the psychiatrist, that this is probably what happened. That she saw that, it triggered the memory of what actually happened, and that's what made her kick us out last time. So it's super weird that we'd come in and say, no, we were totally wrong about that. It's like, yeah, no shit. You were told that she actually had her memories. But whatever. I guess they just need an impetus to have her explain what really happened by us saying the wrong thing, so they can be like, no, actually, this is what happened.
何が起きたかははっきりしないけど、それはわからない。その通り。そもそも原因って話なら、郊外のフォローが確認したのは、 and again, so you made the stupid assumption before and got the incorrect order wrong, and you're like, no, they could still be alive. It's like, yes, but again, you haven't heard Yidhari's story. You realize Yidhari might have literally seen her parents die. So you telling her they might be alive is pretty fucking stupid when she might have seen them die, right? Obviously, she remembers her parents trying to help her, but she is alive right now, and her parents are nowhere around, so it could be that they were able to cure her, and we're heading out of the hollow, to rescue them, and it could be that they died in that escape, and Yidhari saw them die, but still kept running to try to escape the hollow. And then that's when she was found, right? So to make these grand statements of, no, your parents could still be alive, it's like, dude, maybe wait to hear what Yidhari has to say first, Because Yidhari feels guilty. Like, if her parents were alive, or are simply missing, right? Like, if it was just simply like, oh, they told us to run, it could be the whole, oh, they pushed me through a door, locked the door, and told me to run. I didn't literally see them die, but there were hollows chasing after us. They closed the door to give me a chance to escape. Yeah, they're pretty much dead. But yes, technically you didn't see them die. But again, making random bullshit statements of, no, this could totally be alive. Dude, you don't even know the fucking situation. At all. Maybe don't make these stupid fucking assertions, Maybe don't make those baseless claims that her parents could be alive. Now, to be fair, what Belle's saying is very correct. It's not her fault for her parents' death, right? Whoever caused the Hollow Zero disaster, that's who's truly at fault. Because if the Hollow Zero disaster didn't happen, then this Hollow wouldn't have had problems as well, right? Like, if that Hollow Zero disaster didn't happen, then she probably wouldn't have been corrupted, and this Hollow might have not been overrun with ethereals. Yeah, makes sense, right? But at the end of the day, she feels guilty. It's survivorship. It's survivor's guilt, right? She's alive, her parents are dead. She likes to think, well, it's not like she likes to think, but it's just what happens, right? People think, oh man, they run through their head of how things could have gone differently.
But the problem is when dealing with a situation like this, the only thing that could go differently are the things that you yourself can control, right? The only thing she could change is what she could have done at the time, right? Oh, if I hadn't gone to the research facility, you know? That's the only thing she can do. And so she doesn't know any other variables. You know, as I said, like, her parents might have, without Yidhari there, her parents might have long since been killed, right? Like, her parents could have tried to immediately escape the Hollow and then gotten killed by ethereals on the way, right then and there, right? So they might have gotten a few extra days of life simply because they stayed put to try to cure Yidhari. Sure, they died in the end, but, like, they could have died sooner, because we don't know. We have no clue about any of this shit, right? So, but from Yidhari's perspective, it's like, well, I know this situation happened when I was there, therefore, you know, that's my fault, kind of thing. So.
でもやっぱりどう国水基地で何があったのか私は知らないといけないの。
Okay, so Tisha herself doesn't even know what happened. Yeah, so Lucia's claim was just stupid, right? Yidhari doesn't even know what happened. How the fuck you shouldn't really make baseless claims like that. Actually, one sec.納得がいくまで調べた後でもし目を覚ますことができたらここまで来たんだし私にも手伝わせていいのこの先どんな大丈夫なんたって今の私はエーテリアスマスターですから
それに
Oh yeah, I forgot about this here. Honestly, yeah, like his purpose is basically meaningless because it seems like realistically, only Lucia actually matters because we're fighting with purely the ethereals and the dream monsters, and that's the only purpose of having Lucia. We're basically useless, but we're the main character, so we're here. But it's like, yeah, why is Minato here? He doesn't like. If we're only able to fight monsters with monsters, then Minato is completely useless. Yes, yeah, and that's what I think they were doing. I think they might have been, I don't know, maybe they were trying to save the world or something, and Oh, interesting. So yeah, maybe they realized, maybe they thought they were making a something that could help people, like just an anti-corruption serum in general. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna create this serum to help people resist corruption. But it seems like obviously it's being used for military purposes. So maybe they were disillusioned. Maybe they came in thinking we're doing this to help average everyday people, and then they realized they were actually just benefiting the military. So they were like, oh well, fuck that. And so yeah, that's might be why they transferred, or wanted to transfer at the very least. I mean, it's understandable. It's a common trope. The genius scientists trying to better the world, and their research is being used for nefarious purposes. I mean, to be fair, making soldiers that can resist ether is probably not super nefarious, because at the end of the day, what's it going to be used for? Well, to resist ether, I mean, probably go into the hollow, right? You're probably just making it so that the people who actually go into the hollows don't have any issues, which is fine, because it's unlikely that it's it's not like super soldiers, right? Like Captain America, when they're making super soldiers, why are they making super soldiers? Well, to go to war with other people, right? Because so it's mainly to boost your country's military power. But if you're if you're making it able to resist ether, I mean, the only reason you need to resist ether is to go into the hollow, and there's no friendly fire in the hollow. Basically, there's no humans in the hollow. I mean, you could argue that I guess the country that has the more resistant soldiers can maintain and keep the resources better. So countries that don't have soldiers that can stay in there longer will lose a war over resources if they fight in there. But, I mean, at the moment, we have no signs of that. I guess the question is that why were they leaving? It doesn't seem... Oh. Okay, yeah. And this thing's labs in the middle of nowhere. That's why I always assumed, especially because there was you could only get there by sea. That's why I assumed it was an island, right? If the only way to get there is by sea. But yeah, I mean the fact that they're doing. Okay, so it could just be a moral thing then. That potentially, if this is secured, they might not be able to use it for super malicious purposes. But if the way they're doing the research is illegal, right? Is unethical, like testing on live humans and shit like that. Yeah, so it's used for evil, though. I mean, I don't see how making ether-resistant soldiers can be used for evil. I mean, as I was saying, like, I don't see how it can't, how the results can be used for evil, because ether-resistant soldiers, like, it doesn't make them stronger. So it doesn't make them better at fighting humans, regular humans. It doesn't make them better just because they can resist ether more, right? Unless there's a correlation, like if you can resist ether, you can absorb more of it, so you'll be more powerful. You know, like if ether is like magic, and the higher your resistance is, the more ether you can store in your body. And so being in a hollow will like charge up your ether reserves, and that's how come everyone can use all those like special abilities. So yeah, I guess in that case, increasing their resistance would increase their ability to fight. Which could then obviously be used against normal civilians. But if it's purely just like, yeah, if all it does is just allow you to stay in hollows longer or go deeper into hollows, I don't see how that's like super evil, right? So I don't see how what they're making is super evil. It seems like how they were making it was the most morally dubious part of it, where they might be like doing inhuman experiments to do so. But
Yidhari, 大丈夫？少し休み。いいえ、大丈夫よ。
Yeah, I said stay home and rest. Was she not healthy even before this? Wait, so they said Tops took all the protective gear, like what? Like they didn't they didn't have enough protective suits in the hollow to protect a full evacuation. I think that's dumb. Like that's pretty stupid. Like I understand like the Titanic, right? Where it's like, oh yeah, a ship that big, you're not going to have enough boats to have everybody, right? I get that. Like, because boats take up physical space. Like, if you have a ship like that, if you have a ship that big, you're gonna have like 1,000 people on it, and a boat is a pretty big thing, and it can only only fit like 20 to 30 people. So you would need like let's say 20, since it's nice and easy to divide, right? If you have 1,000 people on the Titanic, right, and each boat can fit 20 people, then you would need 50 boats to make sure that everyone on the Titanic could leave. And 50 boats is a lot, right? That's a lot of boats to have, especially because like the way you normally keep boats is you keep them at deck level, right? Or like hovering slightly above deck level, and that means you can only fit so many. Because basically, then the only space you have is just around the circumference of the deck. And so how can you fit 50 boats along that circumference, especially when you don't want to put them in especially when you can't like line them literally around every inch of the circumference of the boat, right? You're not going to have it near the front and the back. It's mostly going to be along the side, so that further restricts the amount of space. So how can you get 50 boats? And even still, like that's only assuming there's 1,000 people on the Titanic. I'm not sure how many there were, and then like, especially because it's 1,000. Like, did they have 1,000 guests or 1,000 total people, right? Crew plus, because like if it's 1,000, if you had enough room for 1,000 guests, then you're probably going to have like a few hundred crew members as well. So like that increases it even more. So like yeah, there's actual space constraints of the boat, of the the lifeboats are also restricted inside, like also take up space. But for like this, a protective suit, like you can like how do you not have space for a few protective suits, especially when you're on an island? Like there is no space constrictions because you have the entirety of your facility to house protective gear, right? And you have like 360 degrees of space, right? You could put them on the roof. Like you could have a storage spot on the roof. You could have you could have a second story just for protective gear, right? Or put all the labs on the second story and have all your protective gear on the first story, right? Tons of space. You could, and then suits themselves can just be like crumpled up and thrown into a closet or whatever. I mean, like if it's like a hazmat suit, it's like sure, it's like the helmets are the big thing, but you can like stack them, so it'd be like. And then of course you're not going to have like 1,000 people in a illegal underground lab facility too. So, that's kind of weird that they would cheap out on that. Like, I understand why. Like boats would, so the lack of space. And it's like, well, if you're not going to be able to save anyone anyway, then are you really going to try that hard to make sure you get every single person saved? No. You're like, well, if we can't save the entire occupants anyway, you might as well just, make it look like we did the best we could. But for this, it's like, I don't know. Especially because, like, your researchers are your treasures. Every researcher lost because you didn't provide enough suits during an emergency is just like, it's just going to fuck you over in the long run. So it's a little weird, right? But whatever. Obviously, you have to keep it going. Okay, so now that we're fighting ethereals, now we have humanoids. And so I guess the challenging is my stack of enhancement. Oh, I see. So basically you do this 3 times and then do this. 2 stacks. Okay, so it seems like this doesn't use stacks. So you're just doing this multiple times. Unless maybe the other dude, does he grant enhancement stacks? Is that what it is? Because I know that one of them... See, so my question is this buff... Like... His thing is 1 stack of an enhancement buff. It grants a stack of an enhancement buff, increasing damage dealt and reducing damage taken. So, does that mean... So of a stat... So this doesn't have to be the enhancement buff. It could be any sort of stat buff. So this should count as well as my buffing ally. So this can give me that, and then a base stat buff. So... Basically, my human allies can count. I grant myself 1 from this, and then they grant me more. And then at 3, this is awesome. And at 5, this is awesome. It seems like this continuously goes, too. So, like, I don't lose it from attacking. Because I don't see any instance here. Although, there might be other shit that's involved. There might be other nuance to it where it's like, oh, actually, maybe there's a timer on buff. It's like they didn't explicitly say anything about timers, so presumably this is a permanent buff. And realistically, fights have never been that long, so that's probably why they don't last a certain amount of turns or whatever. Because, you're going to beat you're gonna beat pretty much everything within like 3 to 4 turns anyway.
Warming up はできたな。行くぞ。
はい。
その調子。完璧なタイミング。
Oh man. So is it only ethereals that
はい。
do counters?
俺がやる。
調子が良くなったぜ。
大丈夫？その調子。
どけ。へってこい。
余裕余裕。
Oh, interesting. Oh, so maybe I can only do it for skills or for basic attacks. Maybe I can only dodge basic attacks, but that was clearly a skill because I was marked at the end of it. So maybe that's how it goes. Oh, interesting. It seems dispels a mark on seemingly all allies when they get it. When they're buffed. Well, I mean, yeah. So if I get a stat buff, it dispels marks on any allies. But just because you're not equipping this to specific characters. It's that when a stat buff occurs, you dispel, which is not super helpful. Okay, so this is pretty basic. Yeah, it seems pretty simplistic, but I think it's probably because they're treating us fairly. I bet, like in the harder battles, like in the final one where it's like, oh yeah, here's just like 6 battles. I bet they're going to be like harder. Where one we have the pure advantage of just being able to have all of our types have an advantage, whereas presumably for the actual like tougher, but I assume they're going to be tougher. They're probably going to have a mix of enemy types, So you're not going to have an obvious advantage where it's like, oh, it's all ethereal? Okay, I'll just be all humanoid. It'll probably be a mix of ethereal, humanoid, and mechanical. So you have to mix and match yourself. Although presumably you probably want to... Presumably you'll want to make sure that whatever the strongest enemy is, you want to make sure that you have more of that, the type that's advantageous towards it. So if the strongest enemy they have is an ethereal, I want to make sure that my main DPS are also going to be humanoid, so they have the advantage. Oh, on himself. I thought he might have been doing it on her to keep her alive. I mean, on all of them, I guess. Okay, so nothing else around here, just this stuff. Maybe it isn't an easy thing. Don't most proxies go in with a Bangbu, or maybe are we the only ones that go in with a Bangbu? I know we can like share our vision, I guess. So maybe we are. Maybe all other proxies just go in and do it themselves.
Yidhari.
Yeah, obviously the mother survives because she has to work on the ether corruption medicine. Well, it does explain why she was the only one there in that memory. We only heard Angel's voice, so that would explain it. Wait, what? Dead End Butcher? I thought that was only in... See, that's what I find like weird. What, the Dead End Butcher? That was in the main hollow. Or that was in the hollow in New Eridu. Like that's the main boss we fought at the beginning part of the game. So presumably it was only hollow because we never went to the Outer Ring until like patch 3 or 4 or something like that. So why would the Dead End Butcher be in the Outer Ring hollow? Unless they can bounce between hollows, I guess. Or there could be more than one as well. It could just be a classification, as once the ethereal gets too strong, they become one of these advanced ones, but then there might be multiple copies. You know, like maybe like an evolutionary path where it's like, oh yeah, this evolves into this, which evolves into this, which evolves into the Dead End Butcher, and like other ones are like, oh no, this one has this different base type, so it's going to evolve into this extremely strong one. Oh, yeah, this is the one we fought. Okay, so grants all enemies. Okay, so I guess just do that at all times. Oh, interesting. So the energy one is basically a free turn advance, which is kind of tough. So I'll have to remember the turn order to see when he goes to make sure that I pick someone who has already moved. Otherwise, that buff will be wasted. Although first I'll start with the enhancement buff regardless.
大物登場か。上等だぜ。
That's kind of annoying. He goes first. Here you go.
はい。どけ。
Let's kill this thing first, actually.
力が湧いてきたよ。
Oh shit, it's not dead.
ナイスタイミングだ。勝負しようぜ。
Oh man, so only the main dude can actually dodge.
大したことない敵だったね。
どけ。ゲッカ。
調子が良くなったぜ。
どけ。
大丈夫？こっちが攻める番だね。突撃。
Oh, so this one actually does have a 2-turn healing buff. I don't know. Does that mean like I get healed? Like, is it heals me for like the next 2 turns, like at the start of a turn? Oh, I see. I was pressing circle. So this is story, combat, combat, story, combat, combat. Story? Not quite sure. Oh, I see this. Oh, there's 8. For some reason I thought there was 6 or 7 or something like that. Okay, yeah, so it's story, combat, combat. What time is it? I guess I'm going for one more. Oh, yeah, it's got shit. Yeah, I just have all my buffers. Good character. Oh, interesting. So the fact that I get a lifesteal means that this must be a really fucking tough enemy. Actually, wait, no, because it's only on kills. Although I guess I should just make sure that I get my main DPS killing. Oh yeah, each one a little tiny one.
ここからが正念場だね。その調子。力が湧いてきたよ。 その調子。
So none of the humans seem to
エーテリアスを制
do
する
any
の
sort
は
of
タイミングも制す。
countering. So it seems like Ethereals will counter us. It seems like Ethereals are kind of better.
俺がやる。
こっちが攻める番だね。
Oh god damn it, I didn't want to do on that one, I wanted to do the other one. Fuck.
調子が良くなったぜ。
一発でやっちゃうよ。悪夢を追い払ってやったよ。
Oh, yeah, I killed them all.
これでどう？
集中しろ。
エーテリアスを制す者はタイミングも制す。落ち着いて、大丈夫だから。
Uh, yep. Yeah, I think it's definitely kind of tough too, because even if you have the one guy dodge, their attacks do have an AOE, so only their target can actually dodge it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It seems like it's pretty easy. I don't know if I have a. I bet the way it's going to be more challenging is I'll probably only have a certain number of allies, and there will probably be more enemies than there are us. But even still, like there are some, like the big guy we just got was like super easy. He's able to gather together and kill a lot of small ones, which is going to be super helpful. I imagine I'll try to want. I want to use him. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, let's stop here. Yeah, I don't want to actually do that right now. I've been doing this. I need to take a break, get somewhere to eat, and I don't know how long this is going to be. So far, the story hasn't been super long, but like this is like the last kind of portion of it before we have to fight the big bad, and then there's more story afterwards. Even if I stop right before fighting the big bad, I'm not sure how much like prep work there is, because it could be another one of those things where it's like, okay, we're going to listen to a lot of logs and stuff or whatever. But anyway, so I should be able to wrap at least that part up tomorrow, and then I can semi take my time for the remaining actual just pure combat stuff. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and call it now. But thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.